My greatest highlight or takeaway from class 1 introduction was the competence and joyfulness chart and just like figuring out what my golden ticket is in life. My favorite thing from the second class, positive psychology, my greatest takeaway was the happiness formula and how we have to set ranges, how we have set ranges and circumstances don't affect our happiness that much as other things would. From class 3, flourishing, my greatest takeaway or favorite thing that we talked about was recognizing and using our signature strengths and how that can help us create a fulfilling life and be happy. And number 4, achieving authentic happiness. I liked talking about the active and constructive responding, and so I was able to be more aware of the way that I responded to those around me because of it. And now class 5, the how of happiness. My greatest takeaway was pursuing versus creating happiness and just recognizing that it can't be found and it doesn't come by changing our circumstances either. From class 6, positivity and love. I really liked when we talked about the positivity toolkit and just how if we're being open and creating quality connections, applying our strengths, cultivating kindness, visualizing our future, ritualizing gratitude, that all of those things apply to happiness. Class 7, perma flow, the elements of flow and recognizing when I'm in my flow and how I can create more flow experiences. That was one of my greatest takeaways. Class 8, perma, meaning and achievement, is just like how a happy life versus a meaningful life. And we talked about the tank and if you could have all the happiest experiences within the tank, but how still most of us would choose to go outside of that. Class 9, the happiest places. One thing that I really liked is the list of how we can thrive in our home life, in our family life, our children, and just like being able to focus in each of those areas so that we can best thrive. In chapter 10, why we do what we do, I really liked the autonomous versus controlled motivation and how when we were controlled it reduced our intrinsic motivation, and when we have our autonomy, then we have increased motivation. And then class 11, self-determination theory. I liked when we talked about the basic psychological needs and kind of autonomy, competence, and relatedness, and just making sure that we had all of those aspects and connected with others. Chapter 12 in the time famine. I liked all of the different time famine terminology and felt like I could relate to each of them. I feel like I'm always in a time crunch. In class 13, take back your time with family time scarcity and overscheduled children. I feel like I related to that. When I was younger, I did a billion activities and didn't have time to just relax. In chapter 14, building a good life in the digital age. I liked the quote when it said it's good to be connected but bad to be disconnected, and just focused on being with who you are or being with the people you're with when you're with them. Class 15, intentional families. I liked when we talked about the different rituals and how you can make how they should be meaningful, repeated, coordinated to bring prediction, connection, identity in a way, and enact values in some way. I felt like my family had a lot of rituals, and it was cool to be able to recognize those and want to apply them in my future family. 16, family rituals. I liked when they talked about the couple rituals and taking time to talk together each day. Class 17, the last child in the woods. I liked talking about the relationship that children have now with nature and than they had before. I feel like I played outside a lot more than my younger siblings do. And so it's kind of sad how that relationship is kind of getting further apart. In class 18, experience economy and experience staging, with experience components of, I liked when we talked about the experience components, planning, anticipation, travel, experience, and then remembering it, and just creating experiences with that model. 19, fostering empathy. I liked how it talked about kind of getting out of the box, getting out of yourself, and stop seeing other people as obstacles, but more as, embracing humanity and loving them and taking them into account. Class 20, design thinking. I liked how we could ideate and visualize concepts, quantity over quality, and like the non-judgmental brainstorming. Class 21, designing your life intro. I liked when we talked about building a compass and kind of the work view versus life view and how those actually relate a lot. So class 22, designing your life and wayfinding and odyssey plans. I like the idea of the anchor problems. I think I get stuck on one idea and it's really hard for me to move on. Class 23, designing your life prototyping. I like the prototyping conversations and interviews, and I feel like they help me a lot to see what a future career could potentially be like. And finally, the class 24, designing your life and choosing happiness. I like the idea of letting go and grabbing onto something else. I think it's easy for me to get like the anchor problem, get stuck on something, and but just like learning to kind of let go of it and choose something else and then make the most of what the next thing is that you choose. Thank you.